What's good, y'all? This is HyBrid803 here to give y'all my take on hip hop not being in the top 40 billboards this year. Let's get in it. So now, in the wonderful world of hip hop, thanks to some rules change, all right, the Billboard has now taken hip hop off the top 40 list. So they changed the rules for songs that were too low and too old on the list to combat stagnation. That way they could be more representative of more current popular music. Now you got people all in blogs and vlogs talking about see, I told you hip hop was dead and hip hop is old and it's done now. But I'm thinking what's done now is the lie of people saying that something is good when they know it's not good. All right. I mean, I think that whole era has just now popped where it was like, oh, okay, we're going to pay for these guys to be cool. And you're going to have to agree that these guys are cool, because if you don't agree that these guys are cool, then you must not have it or something like that. And people are tired of that. They want something that they can feel. That's why a lot of people are going back to the older playlists. And if you do go to the club, even though the club isn't, popping like it used to. But if you do go to the club, you notice, or if you go to any party, you notice that they don't get away from the music of like the early 2000s up to about 2015. They keep that spinning because that music has feel into it, especially from 2010 on back. That's when the soul and all that was still in it, and people were still actually trying to make quality music other than just trying to be cool. And not only are people tired of being told what to like in order to seem accepted, they're also tired of the artists not caring when they're creating. I don't know where we get this whole thing where artists is like, okay, hey, I made a song and I didn't write it and it only took me a minute. I went in there one take and I didn't write nothing and I came up with a hit. That's not quality music. That's just you going in there trying to really do something to impress yourself or impress people around you. It's like a magic trick in a way. Like, look, there's no song here. Poof, voila, look at it. I made a song come and I didn't even think about it. I didn't even write it or nothing like that. Ain't I amazing? And that does not make a good song. Not to mention, just because people can go in there and they can go off the head and create a song on the fly, it's also practice that they have put in over time. It's not like they just came out the womb spitting and spitting 16s and formatting hooks and all this here. I mean, the whole goal of being talented, like with a Jay-Z, with a Biggie Smalls, with a Lil Wayne, is to make it look like you didn't put in many hours of repetition in order to get this thing to where you want it. But the secret behind anything like that is hours and hours of training. What do they say? 10,000 hours you have to invest in anything in order to be good at it, all right? So that's, so if an artist does come in there, like your favorite artist, and does that, trust me, they've done training. You need to do the same thing. And we also got to talk about the business side of hip hop, which a lot of people are woo on. All these rappers paying for streams, paying for bots, and all this for interaction. All that is over with, man. Because now when you actually go to the shows, promoters, they don't really care too much about those streaming numbers. That may help you get in the door, for the first go round or whatever. But once they see no one is coming out or no one is rocking with it, real promoters are not going to be wanting these artists to come around to do anything. This is why a lot of the local scenes are corrupted. On top of the crazy politics in local scenes and things like that, the gatekeepers, the stomping out of good talented artists only to put on artists that they're cool with and things of that nature, or just put on really their home. They're not even really artists. They're just like their homeboys and they want to be cool for the moment. That really messes up, hip hop on the local level, to where other people can want to come to it and help it build. I remember in my local scene, like in South Carolina, At one point when I first came in the game, it was a thing to go out to the open mic events or the hip hop events or something like that. If something was like that was going on in the city, that would be something people would love to go to and check out and see. It was like, because we grew up watching Apollo. You know what I mean? And, that was like our live Apollo down here in Columbia, South Carolina, to go to open mics, especially like this open mic called Mr. B's a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? And, over time, with all of the politics and all of the people, with the fake contest and the fake shows and all these things like here, people stopped going to them. And not only did they stop going to them, but they started bad mouthing them, saying like, "Oh, I'm not going to no local event to see no local rappers or nothing like that. I don't want to go check nothing out like that because it's going to be, hit with some BS, and it's going to be somebody who has no talent or nothing just up there, because he's cool with the promoter." No one wants to see that. You know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of people, I think, on the local level for our scene and a lot of other scenes, gravitated away from hip hop. And I don't know if you know, also in hip hop, I believe this ageism thing is really killing the art. If you look at any other genre of music, you know what I mean, country music, pop music, dance, what have you, a lot of the newer artists come in with respect for the older artists, and they come in like, yeah, I aspire to be like that and beyond one day. And not only that, they also want to contribute more to the sound that is country music, that is rock music. You understand what I'm saying? They want to contribute to the greatness that they grew up on, or the greatness or the feelings that they had when they experienced the music. But in hip hop, it's like you have the newer generation or the younger generation telling the older generation that they need to leave and that their accolades and whatever doesn't matter. They don't care about it. And the new thing that they're doing is hip hop. And the old heads, why are you even doing hip hop? Because hip hop's not even for the older crowd or anything like that. It's only for younger people, even though it's been around for 50 years, but it's only for younger people, and only the younger people look good doing this and talking about certain things. And that's just, it's crazy. It's blasphemy. If anything, I thought that for the newer artists or the younger generation, what they should have did was just have a whole nother genre that they could have created. That was another subgenre of hip hop or rap. And then they could have labeled that and did whatever they wanted to do and get their shine with that. Because like they said, they're not trying to be hip hoppers and all this. They're more so like trying to be rock stars, as Little Uzi Vert had famously said in an old interview a long time ago. So I'm like, okay, well, if you're trying to do that, then why don't we just name it something like that? Or why is it not rock or whatever? Why my thing is really though, why doesn't it have its own genre? You understand what I'm saying? And that way they can do their thing, be great in their situations. Because also too, when we're looking at numbers and things like that, even though numbers, I don't really care too much for numbers and things of that nature, but when we talking about in hip hop, how come that a Ghostface or a Nas can drop? You know what I'm saying? And he's coming out with his certain sound. But then also the newest guy who comes out and his sound is nowhere near like that, but they consider it hip hop because he's he's a young guy and he has a little bop to his sound. How can his sound just kind of like drown out or just overcome something that these guys aren't even trying to be in the same lane of? It's like it doesn't even make sense for it to even be compared to each other or whatever if we are talking about numbers and things of that nature. And it's like, I think Pac said it best when he was like, the people in the dope game is going to take over the rap game, because that's what that rule comes from. When you in the dope game in the streets, it's like the younger dudes don't want to hear what the old heads was talking about. They don't want to hear about the bricks you sold back in the day. They don't want to hear about the guns y'all had back in the day or whatever. Like in the 90s, they wasn't trying to hear about the revolvers and all this here. Uncle Eddie and them was talking about when they was back in the day pimping in the 70s. You understand? They ain't trying to hear about that, because in the 90s, things was a little bit different. And now they got Max and all kind of other stuff, different type of weaponry and all kind of other things. So they're like, okay, you can't tell me about my situation, or you can't tell me about my life. You understand what I'm saying? And that's like a part of the gangster street code. If you don't know, that's why you always be seeing those memes, like, you know what I'm saying, the old head trying to tell the young ones about how he was on the block back in the day, and the old ones like they don't want to hear about it. That's always been going on when it comes to the streets. But I think now, since so many people was in that whole, it became more mob tied like in hip hop, where a lot of more pay to play things like that. That's how now you got these rules in hip hop where, oh well, we don't care about the old heads because they're not doing what we're doing and they can't tell us what we're doing. And I'm like, no, this is music. I know it comes from the street, but it's different. This is music. So, the street rules don't necessarily apply here all the way. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you should want to continue the greatness and keep hip hop going in a great direction. And if you got something new, make you something new. But in conclusion, I don't think hip hop is dead or anything like that. I believe that it just went back underground. It went back into the hands of the creators. It went back into the hands of the people that actually seek out hip hop and can actually put it up there for people and educate people, not just putting something up there just to wear it like a piece of clothing or something like that, just to say, hey, I'm cool because I'm listening to these guys. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop will never die. I don't think it's going to ever die. You know what I mean? But you know what I'm saying? It's just going through a transition, and everything then popped, it then came to a head, and now it's time to rise from the ashes and become something great. You know what I'm saying? And artists like me is going to make sure that it continues to rise and continues to be something great for generations to come. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you so much for rocking with me. If you made it all the way this long in the video, I'm pretty sure you subscribed by now. If not, you need to go ahead and hit that subscription button. Appreciate you for liking it, because I know you already have. I know you ain't just sitting here and heard me talking. You ain't like nothing. That's crazy. You need to go ahead and throw a share up in there. But I appreciate you so much, man. As always, we got new music on the way. HyBrid803, My Way Out now. And make sure you go to hybrid803.bigcartel.com to get you AE Gang merch like this here, so you can represent. You understand what I'm saying? That AE Gang, because anything in life worth having ain't easy to get. All my hip hoppers, man, keep rocking, keep doing your thing, keep creating. We don't need the labels no more. It's a whole new world. Keep on making that great art that you love. All right, because it's up to us. We got to do it. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, it's all love. Y'all stay safe. Y'all be blessed. And as always, until next time we come across each other on this YouTube platform. What?